World War II, which began September 1st, 1939 and ended September 2nd, 1945, was one of the most defining moments in history, involving a time of tremendous sacrifice, courage, and resilience. It shaped the lives of millions, leaving indelible marks on families across the globe. While I never had the chance to meet David G. Quirarte, my grandpa's great-aunt's husband, also known as my great-great-granduncle through marriage, who proudly served as a private in the Army and was honorably discharged as a sergeant, his story has touched me in a profound way through the echoes of family memories and the legacy left behind. In this video, I not only want to honor David, but also explore his journey during World War II, while I attempt to uncover the threads of his life that have been woven into the fabric of these letters. Through these letters, I hope to keep his memory alive, not just for family, but for everyone who seeks to understand the bravery of individuals who served. David G. Quirarte was born May 8, 1908 in Mexico. He came to the United States at a very young age and lived in Los Angeles, California. He had two brothers and one sister. David married my great-great-grandaunt, Maria de Jesus Ramirez, who everyone called Jessie, on Sunday, October 25, 1936, at the Sacred Heart Church in Los Angeles, California, as seen here in their wedding invitation. Prior to the war, David was active in organizing people, specifically the Mexican-American people, to give them a voice in the American system. He was also skilled in the occupations of laundering, cleaning, dyeing, and pressing apparel and other articles. David enlisted in the Army on November 13, 1943, and started off as a private. His terms of enlistment was for the duration of the war or other emergency, plus 6 months subject to the discretion of the President or otherwise according to law. His official release date from the military was January 22, 1946. In piecing together a story from all these letters, it appears that David's wife Jessie began sending him letters about a month later after he enlisted. In the envelopes, his Army serial number is listed and his rank. David's communication with his wife and family was extremely sporadic, likely an indication that these military members were continuously protecting their country, their livelihoods, and that of their fellow service members. The letters typically would go to Camp Lee, Virginia, and then later to San Francisco, California, as these places served as key military hubs. San Francisco was a critical port for troops heading to the Pacific Theater, which spanned the Pacific Ocean, East Asia, Southeast Asia, and Oceania, encompassing areas like the Philippines, Midway, Guadalcanal, and Iwo Jima, and mail was routed through these locations to ensure it reached soldiers efficiently, especially as they moved between assignments. In the duration that David served in the military, his wife Jessie wrote many letters to him which my grandpa let me borrow. She refers to him as sweet. In addition, his mom and siblings also sent him cards and letters to keep his spirits up while he fought in the war. Several Christmas cards, Easter cards, and Valentine cards also show the special moments he missed with his loved ones for several years. The content of the letters from his family informed David of how much they loved him, missed him, and to take care of himself. The letters also included their longing to see him again and that they could not wait until they reunited with him once again. His wife, Jessie, in one letter, wrote to him that she had just heard their favorite song, I Love You Truly, written by Carrie Jacobs Bond in 1901, which became a popular song sung by Bing Crosby during World War II. Here's a sample of this song.
I love you truly, truly, dear. Life with its sorrow, life with its tears, fades into dreams when I feel you near. I love you truly, truly, dear.
Other letters she wrote to him include her lipstick lips showing that she missed him dearly. Another letter referred to the Japanese in negative terms as she likely blamed them for why David was serving in the war. There's also a postcard that David sent to his wife Jessie, indicating that the real army life makes real men out of you. This postcard is dated in January of 1944. Another card she sent him congratulated him on his promotion from private to corporal, with a postage stamp date of January 13th, 1945. One of the final letters she sent to him was postage stamped November 30th, 1945. In this letter, she addressed him as Sergeant, indicating that David was promoted one more time. The content of this letter pleads with him to send her letter letting her know that he is okay, as she has not heard from him in a while. She tells him that she feels great worry to have found out that he is sick in the hospital and not doing well, and that she feels helpless as she is not able to get to him to take care of him. She asks David that if he is unable to find a way to write her letter, they have someone to do it for her, as she is sick with worry. She tells him she misses his letters, that she loves him very, very much, to take care of himself, and that God bless him always. Right after the war, David worked for Godo, a Japanese man who owned apartments, and David managed the apartments for him. David also worked at a dry cleaning business while he was managing apartments. And working for a Japanese man, this shows that David felt no discrimination towards or had no ill will towards the Japanese. A couple years after working for Godo and in the dry cleaning business, David decided to buy his own lot and start his own dry cleaning business, which did quite well. David and Jessie never had any children. It was word that David was injured during war as a result of shrapnel hitting him and causing a permanent injury. His injury was discussed between families behind closed doors as a direct cause of him never being able to have children. My grandpa was born 8 years later after David had served World War II. Sometime after my grandpa was born, David sponsored my grandpa's parents so they could immigrate to the US. My grandpa and his family lived in the house below David and his wife Jessie from birth until 21 years old, the age my grandpa got married to my grandma. Although there are no pictures we have of him, my grandpa describes him as a nice, average height, slightly rounded bald man that was good-natured with a big heart. Of course, my grandpa did not know him in his younger years when David served in the army during World War II, as my grandpa was not yet born. But my grandpa recalls David having a distinct slight limp when he walked. My grandpa says that David never talked about the war or the time he served during the war. It appears many men that served in the war refused to talk about it because of the atrocities that they experienced. People who went to war experienced ugly memories, and since he was in the front lines, he likely did not want to speak of it. My grandpa says that those that talked about how much they fought or all the people they put to death during the war were likely lying, as those who really served in the war felt that they had nothing to show off about. Though he never mentioned his time during World War II, David did tell my grandpa that if he could avoid it, to not get involved in the military and instead to go to school and be good to your fellow citizens. David continued to live a quiet life with his wife Jessie until he passed away on January 11th, 1978 at the age of 69. His cause of death is listed as unknown. Though David Quirate's voice is now silent, his contributions and the sacrifice he made for his country remain alive in the letters his wife, mom, and siblings wrote to him. Letters that are now in my possession, and letters I have sifted through to try and piece together a little bit of what he may have gone through during the war. These letters remind me that even the most distant connections, those passed from generations past, can still inspire and teach us about duty, honor, and the human spirit during challenging times.